let's switch tack again, because the federal government, as we well know, is set to give eligible Australians $25,000 to renovate their homes in an attempt to boost demand in the construction sector. But there are some caveats. Eligibility will be restricted to substantial renovations or the construction of new homes, and it will also be means tested.
The scheme will not apply to investment properties or owners who intend the building or renovating on their own without the help of builders. Both the Property Council of Australia and Master Builders Association have welcomed the move. Property Council Chief Executive Ken Morrison said demand for new housing construction was threatened to fall off a cliff over the next 6 months. This new scheme will help switch on sentiment and save jobs at a critical time for the economy. Master Builders Australia CEO Denita Warren echoed Ken's sentiment, saying the lag effect of building activity means that home builder comes in just in time for builders and tradies staring at the valley of death with forward work over the next 6 to 12 months fast evaporating.
Their lobbying worked, you could say. Let's get more on that with Anthony Landau from Equilibria Finance. A really topical time to be speaking with you, Anthony. Good to see you again.
G'day, Nadine. Thanks very much for having me back on.
Great. Okay, so from your point of view, how is this going to work?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the backdrop to a lot of this is recent economic data, which has reflected the health restrictions. I mean, we've all heard recently Josh Frydenberg discuss the 0.3% fall in GDP, and recent CoreLogic data has indicated the drop in both housing market values and growth in the housing market. 12 months ago, we were seeing growth in Sydney and Melbourne of about 1.7% month on month, whereas now that's dropped down to about 0.6% at the end of March. I think across the economy, we're seeing different industries and sectors having been affected, and obviously this particular home building package is looking at, it's a demand-driven scheme, essentially looking at investing $700 million to assist those who renovate or first home buyers looking to construct a home. The effect of that, Nadine, is essentially going to filter down into construction industry into the next year, because a lot of this construction will probably happen into the new year, and it'll also then filter down into real estate professionals, finance applications, and right through the whole residential construction, residential lending industry.
Anthony, you have a bird's eye view of what's going on across the residential sector at the moment. What are you seeing at this point in time?
Yeah, we've definitely seen a drop. A lot of that is, as I said earlier, in relation to the health restrictions, and then some of the restrictions relating to that. For example, silent options, not having the ability to run an open home. We've seen real estate activity decline by about 35% as compared to last year. We've seen a drop in mortgage applications for new purchases, whether it's owner-occupier or investors. So there's a lot of people either forcibly having to sit on the sidelines, or a lot of people sitting on the sidelines with a lot of uncertainty around the housing market. And as I said, Sydney and Melbourne particularly in January and February this year, we're seeing growth rates around 1.7%, and now they're all dropping to about 0.7% from March and April. So the impact has spread throughout the economy, and it's hit everyone in residential housing, from the construction industry through to the finance side of things, slowing down, as well as making it more difficult, in fact, for a lot of people to obtain finance in this environment, whether due to a change in their circumstances, their income, or in fact a more difficult credit environment for people to navigate.
Anthony, when it comes to the home builder package, now it runs for 6 months in total. We've already seen that building activity has been coming off the record peaks we saw in previous years. Do you think it'll be successful in being able to go and tide the industry over until we actually see an upswing and improvement in organic demand from the private sector?
Yeah, that's a really good question, but a really difficult question to answer. There's going to be some industries that are going to be able to pick up quite quickly. There's going to be other industries that lag. And as you've outlined there, particularly around residential construction, that has slowed. I think key to this package working is going to be the eligibility criteria and the ability for those who are seeking to take advantage of this to actually obtain the additional funds through their lender or providers to be able to actually finance the application. So it is a 6-month program, as you say. There are some income cap restrictions for individuals of $125,000 and $200,000 for a couple. And there's also eligibility around the type of projects for existing homes, with renovations having to be over $150,000. So hopefully the eligibility criteria doesn't lock people out of accessing the scheme. And yeah, hopefully the scheme does filter through to the construction industry and help that construction, not just for this 6 months, but through into next calendar year. Construction has to start 3 months after the contract's signed, but obviously a lot of those projects will go on for 3, 6, 9 and 12 months. So I think philosophically it's a great boost for the industry. It's a great opportunity, as long as the eligibility criteria isn't too restrictive, and also as long as the lenders again come to the party as the economy grows out of this situation and eases some of those credit restrictions that they've put in place through COVID.
Anthony, we'll have to go and leave the conversation here, but we might go and pick up on it maybe in a few weeks' time once this the program gets underway, to see how, if any, effect it's having on the home construction sector.
Not a problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Thank
Anthony.
You. Anthony Landale there from Equilibria Finance.